Good day, everyone. I am Amit Zadi from Antique Stock Broking, and we welcome you all for HSIL Limited Q1 FY22 post-results conference call. We are pleased to have senior management team from HSIL represented by Mr. R.B. Kabra, President and CEO of Building Products, Mr. Rajesh Khosla, President and CEO of AGI Glasspack and Garden Polymer, Mr. O.P. Pandey, HSIL CFO, and Mr. Sandeep Sikka, Group CFO. As a reminder to all the participants, the line will be only in the listen-only mode, and there will be opportunity to ask the question after the presentation concludes. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I would like to hand over the call to Mr. O.P. Pandey for his opening remarks. Over to you, Pandey ji. Post that, we can open the floor for Q&A session. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Q1 FY22 earnings webinar of HSIL Limited. I hope you and your family members are safe during the second wave of the pandemic. We have already circulated our earnings presentation, which is available on our website as well as on the stock exchange websites. I hope you have had the opportunity to go through the presentation, and we would be happy to take any question afterwards. We will begin this call by providing you details of company's financial performance, and then I will hand over the call to Mr. Khosla and Ms. Kabra to share the details of the business division's performance. Quarter 1 of the fiscal year begins on a mixed note, as Q1 of last year was severely impacted and washed out by the first wave of COVID-19. A sharp recovery is now visible on year-on-year basis across all the major metrics. However, with the advent of the second wave of COVID-19 during the quarter, sequential growth was impacted. Among these conditions, I am pleased to report company delivered total income of rupees 420 crores in the first quarter, a growth of 64% on year-on-year basis. Year-on-year revenue growth was driven by higher volumes, improved realization, and a better product mix. We saw a significant recovery in demand for glass containers from pharma, wine, and beer industries compared to Q1 FY21. We delivered EBITDA of rupees 65 crores, registering a growth of 128% on year-on-year basis, with EBITDA margin of 15.4%. Margins improved on year-on-year basis as the visibility improved, and despite top line impacted on quarter-on-quarter basis, margin were stable on a sequential basis. The strong operating margin profile is a result of our continuous focus on the process and cost optimization and investment in higher operational efficiency. In the for the period was rupees 33 crore with EBIT margin of 7.9%. PAT stood at rupees 11 crore with a PAT margin of 2.7% in quarter 1 FY22 as compared to a loss of rupees 17 crores in quarter 1 FY21. A brief update on our two upcoming greenfield projects. Construction of both the project is on track and is expected to be completed by June 22. Specialty glass packaging facility at Bhongir and capacity expansion of plastic pipes and fittings business at Sangareddy plant will boast of state-of-the-art facility with the deployment of advanced equipment, automation, and superior operational efficiencies. I would like to highlight that the macroeconomic challenges due to the pandemic are still present and will shape up how fast and quickly the nation and the economy revives. But as the vaccination program appears to continue getting momentum and state governments are easing lockdown restrictions, we at HSIL are optimistic about the future outlook and revenue growth. We also remain confident of improving our margin profile owing to higher operational efficiencies at the plant, supported by better product mix. Now I hand over the call to Mr. Kabra to talk about the packaging product division.
Thank you, Mr. Pandey. Good afternoon to all who are attending this call. In Q1 FY22, revenue from operations of building product was rupees 123 crore, registering a growth of 105% on year-on-year basis. In terms of macroeconomic and business environment, we are better placed than Q1 of last year, which was wiped out by the first wave of COVID-19, as you all know. As the quarters are lockdown across states, time to time, it resulted in lower demand from the construction and infrastructure sector, impacting negatively the building product division. On a sequential basis, our capacity utilization levels across plants were lower, which resulted in higher production cost, which affected the profitability. As the economy is opening up, we are expecting a consistent and improving demand for the products. Now I would hand over the call to Mr. Khosla to talk about packaging product division.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, Mr. Kabra. The packaging product division was a major growth driver for the top line and profitability during the quarter. Revenue from operation was 293 crores in Q1 financial year 22, registering a growth of 54% on year-on-year basis and contributed 70% of the total revenue. The division saw increased volumes, demand for glass containers from the pharma, wine, beer industry on year-on-year basis. However, revenue declined on the sequential basis due to the muted demand as a state-wise lockdown impacted these segments drastically. Despite the challenging macro environment, the packaging division has delivered a strong EBIT margins of 13.3%. Glass container capacity utilization stood at 89% as compared to 63% in the same quarter last year. Our focus on manufacturing excellence is a part of our growth strategy, and recently we received 2 national awards for our efforts and endeavors. National Feather Touch in association with the Economic Times awarded AGI Glasspack with the Best in Class Manufacturing Award for glass manufacturing category. We have also received the ISO 50001-2018 certificate for strong energy management system put in place across the manufacturing plants. I would like to share and update you operating plants at higher efficiency level and lower operating costs require and timely maintenance. Therefore, in Q2 financial year 22, one of the furnace will be shut down for the scheduled rebuild of a refractory lining, one-time maintenance which happens in 8 to 9 year period. Now looking ahead, quicker recovery in demand from the key industries is expected with the relaxation of lockdown restrictions. In addition, long-term growth drivers of packaging divisions are: we are catering to consumer product whose per capita consumption is on the growth trajectory. 2, for all these industries, be it pharma, alcohol, food, beverages, product promiscution is on the rising trend, where customer preference is moving from plastic to glass packaging. These factors will drive HSIL packaging division growth, and HSIL is well positioned to remain a profitable market leader. Thank you very much, and we are now ready to take any questions from the team.
Thank you, sir. We can now begin the session with question and answers. Anyone who wish to ask the question can press the raise hand option, which is there in your Zoom application. It's in the more option. If you click more, then you'll get the option of raise hand. So participant who wish to ask any question can press that raise hand in the Zoom application, or you can also type in the question. I will read it out, the question to the management. We have one question from Nikhil Gada. Nikhil, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, Nikhil, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So my first question is, we are giving this capacity utilization number. Is this the production capacity utilization or the sales utilization number?
So these are production linked utilizations. So all the capacity utilizations are production linked only.
Exactly. Okay. So, sir, in that context, when we have seen this 54% growth in packaging, can you break it up in terms of how much was the volume growth and value growth?
So generally, we don't give volume and value separately as a part of the disclosures. So I think the selling prices more or less remain same as such, not substantial increase on a quarter-to-quarter basis. Although we are expecting that going forward, because of the price hikes, there can be some, but that is subject to our customers agreeing to it.
So have we passed on any price hikes as of now, or it's still in the works because of the lockdown issues?
Rajesh, can you take this question, please? Rajesh?
Yes. Now this question is regarding the price increase or the price pass on to the customers. Am I right like this?
Yes, sir.
Sir, in the recent time, there has been an increase in the cost factor. And what happens is, whatever cost is increased on a permanent basis or on a long-term basis, those things are being passed on to the customers. And a lot of things are being worked out by our efficiencies, effectiveness, and productivity. So our discussions with the customer is on, and we have got it, and partly we will be getting it. Partly means not on the value term, but on the number of customers I'm talking, because everything takes a time where one-to-one negotiation happens, and then the discussions are finalized. So we have already finalized with a lot of customers, and balance customer we will be finalizing soon. It's in process.
If you don't mind me asking, what would this hike be in terms of numbers?
Till the time we finalize with the customers, everything remains confidential, even the numbers and even the name of the customers. So I may like that this part can be excused on that pretext, but certainly is going to cover up enough to cover up our extra cost, which is going to happen, and even increase in margins also.
Sure, sir. So only reason for asking is that our margins, while they have in packaging, while they have improved year over year, definitely when we look at 4Q, we were close to 18%, which has gone down to 13%. I understand there is some impact of lockdown, but is there any other reason? Has also the power and fuel cost also sort of impacted us?
Mr. Nikhil, can you repeat last two lines, please?
So what I'm trying to understand here is that apart from any impact of RM inflation, is it that the increase in power cost has also impacted our margins for the quarter in packaging?
Okay. The power cost, in the fuel cost, there is a power cost and there is a hydrocarbon fuel cost. As far as power cost is concerned, it has remained the same. But as far as hydrocarbon is concerned, there has been fluctuation up and down in that case. The major reason of the sequential less profit as compared to last year is more on the lockdown and less of the sales part, which has entered in our inventory. There is nothing more than that, sir.
Got it, sir. And
One point
sir,
we would like to add here is that over last 2 to 3 years, we have invested in development of various facilities wherein we can use alternate fuels. Today, we are capable of using furnace oil, LPG, coal gas, normal natural gas. So wherever we feel, it is the best optimization. So we have now capability in-house to use the best mix which we can do.
Mr. Sandeep Sikka, I may like to add further. We are one of the organizations in the whole globe, not India, in the whole globe, which are using so many multiple of the fuel at the drop of the hat. We can use petcoke, we can use furnace oil, we can use natural gas, we can use coal gas, we can use LPG, we can use HDL, and that too in a very short span of switching over from them. We have a very robust system by which the cost optimization are being worked out on a regular basis once in 15 days, and whatever is the best combination for our profitability, we work accordingly on that. So that way we are on a very, very strong wicket, and even if there is a fluctuation in the world market, we are the last one to get impacted of that level, what other companies of the similar nature can get impacted.
got it, sir. Got it. Thank you so much, sir. So just this, it's more of an aberration, and this the 17% sort of trajectory should continue from 2 onwards.
Yes.
If that understanding.
What 70%? We couldn't get your question.
Sir, I am trying to say the 17% EBIT margins trajectory that we had reached.
So if you see Q3, Q4 of last financial year, we feel that we should be able to maintain in the range bound of that. But that is based on current market conditions.
Got it, sir. And just a last question, because of this plant shutdown that we are having, how much of sales we might lose in the quarter?
Nikhil, we are not going for a plant shutdown. We are going to have a furnace shutdown.
Yeah,
in our
apologies.
plant right now, we have 2 furnaces, and one of the furnace is under shutdown. It's a very planned shutdown, because every 9 to 10 years or 8 to 9 years, this furnace has to be rebuilt and they have been relined. So it has come, the stage has come where we have to do that. Regarding the loss in sales, probably I think there is not going to be much loss in the sales, because we have the inventories, and from the inventory we will try to capture whatever the loss in production will be there. So all these things are being planned accordingly.
Got it, sir. Thank you. I'll join the.
Before we take the next question, would like to announce that anyone who wish to ask the question can raise their hand through raise hand option in that is in more settings. So yeah, we'll take the next question from the lines of Shreyas Virani. I'm unmuting Shreyas.
Yes, can you hear me, sir? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Shreyas.
Okay. So very well. The first quarter result, we've just got the result in front of us now. There has been a drop in top line on quarter basis, right? I understand it's because of the pandemic. But going forward, if you could please share with us for the month of July, are we back to the normal sales pattern, or we are still struggling because of the pandemic?
No, market has normalized, but other than this, because we are already in the current quarter, because we don't want to make this as unpublished price sensitive information, so we are restrained to talk about the current quarter. But we lost some turnover in the month of May, and the recovery has been good in the month of June. And going forward, we are confident that the way we recovered last year, in the same trajectory, we should be able to recover. So current market conditions look fine. This can be impacted by, if any other wave comes through, that is outside what we are talking right now here. So giving a guidance on the current figure, please excuse us, we can't do that as per the part of the governance.
Right, I do understand that. So I was just trying to figure out, are we going to be hitting 600 crores quarterly that we did in the month of March, or as you said, you can't share, but just a broader outlook, just to get a sense what.
So I think the guidance here is based on the current market conditions. We are confident that what we did in Q3, Q4 of the last financial year, we should be, around that.
Mr. Sandeep, I may like to help you little in that case. Our business is to be understood. It is a little of cyclical nature. So normally our quarter 3 and quarter 4s are, because of the demand cycle, is little higher than the quarter 1 and quarter 2.
Excellent. Appreciate. One more question. As compared to our competitors, Kajaria Ceramics, okay, last year they posted 2,523 crores of sales, and they've had a bottom line of 301 crore, whereas we had 1860 and we had 88 crore of bottom line. We are doing 16.6% operating versus their 19.2%. So are they more efficient, or what makes them so more attractive in terms of operating margins?
So Shreyas, I think one point I think we need to update you is that we did a scheme of a demerger in the year 2019, and it was the 1st April 2018. Post which the major part of our business, other than manufacturing of the building products, is now a part of a different entity. So this split was already done. So today HSIL is a more focused packaging product company, although we have a building product division which is purely OEM manufacturing for the other company. So the results with the competitors which you are naming here are not comparable for our building product, because that is just an OEM business here. We are more comparable now with the packaging product companies, which is part of our packaging product companies, because major turnover in HSIL today is coming from packaging product division.
Mr. Sandeep Sikka, in my address, I have already indicated that 70% of our revenue is from the packaging product division.
So who are our competitors in the packaging product division? Just to get a better understanding. If you can name the market leader who is in the packaging.
There are companies like Haldane Glass, the listed one. The other one is Hindustan National Glass.
Okay.
These are two primarily big companies. Like we are number 2 player in glass today. And in terms of the capacity, number 1 is Hindustan National Glass.
Excellent. And there was a buyback last year. Any possibility of another buyback?
Anything which is not approved by the board, actually, we cannot comment on it. But as per the law, once the buyback is closed for another year, you can't do it actually.
Right. Appreciate well, sir. Thank you very much, and it was nice talking to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
So we'll take the next question from Zaki Nasir. Zaki, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
I think congrats to the management on a reasonably healthy set of numbers despite the pandemic. Sir, I have two questions, one relating to the numbers and one a general question. So you have indicated that the packaging product division did 89% capacity, which is around 294 crores, against 418 crores of the preceding quarter. So is it that preceding quarter we did more than 100% capacity utilization? Because if you also see the segment-wise profits, it has dropped little more than the proportionate way. So do you think that the last quarter was the exceptional quarter in terms of margins? Is my question number one, sir. And
Can I answer your question one first, I think? That will allow me. So basically, if you see, the normal production was happening. We generally operate our plants, glass plants, at around 90% capacity utilization. So during the pandemic, plants were not closed. So markets were closed. So like, the liquor vents were closed, the restaurants were closed, and the disposal of material did not happen. So We lost some turnover in the month of May, but the production continued. So we built up the inventories. So this has come as a blessing in disguise. Now we had a plant shutdown, so we can use this inventories now during those furnace shutdown period to dilute them and service our customers. So the production continues, and it is not that the Q4 is an exceptional thing in terms of production. But Q4, as Mr. Khosla said, is generally Q3, Q4 is exceptional because of the seasonality. Because the beer season picks up, the liquor season is on a high. So Q3, Q4 numbers are generally higher as such, but nothing in terms of the production. We have a steady production schedule, and I hope I answered your question.
So
Mr. Zaki, the production is mostly flat. The production is mostly flat across the quarters. It is only the sales volumes that go little up, little down on the basis of the cyclic nature of the business.
So would it be safe to assume that the Q1 was a squeezed quarter in terms of margin and sales, sir?
Regarding sales, it is already down. It's a known fact. Yes, Mr. Sikka.
Yeah. So because when sales are down, there is an operating cost. So that is why margins are also looking slightly down on the packaging.
And what about the inventory figure, sir? We have a figure of 67 crores on the inventory negative. So what would that be? I mean, that is also slightly standout kind of a thing, sir.
So this inventory will dilute in Q2 because we have a plant shutdown. So furnace tonnage will not, one of the furnace tonnage will not be available. And the current build-up in inventory we will use to dilute the inventories and make service our customers.
So, sir, would it be safe to assume that we will at least cover the sales of last year? I know it's also a forward-looking thing, but on a broad level, do you think last year can be covered in terms of overall sales?
Based on the current market conditions, I can say yes, we are confident we can do that.
Thank you, sir. And one more broad question, sir, is building products constitutes 30% of our top line. And I know the arrangement with Somany Home, but at least it should not be EBITDA negative for HSIL, sir. I mean, are you looking at that aspect of the whole deal, sir? Because I agree, we have an arrangement.
As per our arrangement, it will not be EBITDA negative. So there is a margin which is a transfer pricing margin based on the report of an independent consultant, one of the big fours. But what happens is when position like COVID comes through, where market gets closed, but you cannot shut down the plants fully. So there is an unabsorbed cost, which as per the accounting standards, we cannot load onto the product. Let's say plant is designed to operate at 80%, 90% capacity. If the capacity drops down, there are fixed costs relating to the plant, which doesn't get loaded onto the plant. So these are exceptional period, wherein you see this aberrations. But over a period of time, when next quarters, if they are normal quarters without any, COVID impact, you will see the margins coming onto the healthy, EBIT margins coming onto the good numbers.
So the building product is not EBITDA negative for HSIL.
No, it is not as per the plan. So if our arrangement with SHIL is that we have an EBIT margin of around ranging between 3.5% to 4.5% depending on various products. This is EBIT, so we cover depreciation also. So the corresponding EBITDA margins should be in range, of around 10 to 12%.
Fantastic, sir. And I know one last thing, sir. We have introduced some very good bottles on our consumer on the retail level, and I also understand that there is some pressure on importing bottles from China. I mean, the fine glass kind of stuff. So how is the consumer bottles panning out? They are available on Amazon. The design is good. How is that panning out, sir? And does the China factor help HSIL in any way, sir?
Okay.
Rajesh,
the market of retail is very small market as compared to B2B market. It's a very small market, but it is a visible market, but it is a small market. Now, the companies like HSIL, they have already entered the segment of the retail market and they are going very widely. So our team is now spreading their web to supply everywhere and to everything. But since in China, the production has been high and it has been a very easy asset. Like somebody go there, fill up the container, bring it and keep it on these things and use their channels to supply that. Believe me, and I'm telling you, there is not much of the impact on the volume part of that, but yes, they are more visible to the normal people than to the industry numbers. So we are not this thing, and in the times to come, the visibility of HSIL products will be much, much higher as compared to what you are looking today.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. And if I may ask one more thing, sir, if time permits, is that we've added I think around 150 TPA of specialized glass, or we are in the process of adding. When would these become fully operational? Q3, Q4 of the current financial year, sir?
So this will get operationalized. We are expecting during Q1 of the next financial year. So this is what we told on the last call also, that it will happen during the next financial year. So the project is already underway. Machineries are coming. We are installing them. So we expect to commercialize this during Q1 of our next financial year.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. I'll come back in that case.
Thank you.
I would request the participants who have any question can raise their hand. That's the option available. Meanwhile, I'll read out the question from Anurag. So Anurag asked, sir, how long the furnace will be down and for what? So in terms of capacity, he needs to understand the capacity reduction in terms of 10%, 15%, how much that would be at capacity level at the furnace shutdown.
Rajesh, if you can answer please.
Okay. This is a normal process that the furnace has a life, and in HSIL, the furnace life is very healthy and very long life. So it is approximately 9 to 10 years is the furnace life. So after 9 to 10 years, the furnace is to be rebuilt, and it takes approximately around 75 days time to rebuild the furnace, which is a very big exercise. So in this time, we will be losing our production capacity, but we may not be losing our sales capacity because the inventories have been built up, and those inventories will be diluted during this time to take care of that. So if you are thinking from the sales point of view, probably there is not going to be the much loss of the capacity as compared to the last year. But if you are talking from a capacity or production point of view, yes, we are going to lose some quantity, and it will be approximately 45 to 46,000 tons in this rebuild time.
Okay, sir. I think that helps. And next question I'll read out is from Mr. Kochar. He asked if we have any plans to rebrand our company as Packaging Limited Company.
So, Mr. Kochar, we've just taken your thoughts. We'll discuss this internally. Nothing to confirm right now. But all the comments such like are always welcome. We'll discuss on this.
So we have a follow-up question from Nikhil. Nikhil, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks again, sir. Sir, I just wanted to understand how is Hindustan National Glass doing as of now, and how is the competitive intensity in terms of from them basically?
So it is difficult for us to make any comment on our competitors on the call, to be very frank. Also, listed company, they disclose their results on BSE and NSE. I think wherever they are listed. In terms of competitive pressure, we compete with them in the market, and our prices and their prices are almost same to our customers because we reach out to almost the similar set of customers to a large extent. So not much differentiation on the pricing part as such. Difference may be around 200-300 rupees a ton. And depending on customer to customer, sometimes they can be higher, sometimes we can be higher. But we'll like to, not comment on any of our competitors on the call. Please excuse us for that.
Just to ask it in a different way, what I have heard is that they have not been doing so well, and few of their furnaces were actually not operational. So since we are already at close to 90% sort of utilization levels, any plans to just buy out some of the furnaces and look at that kind of an opportunity? So that's why I was coming.
I think nothing is available as such from their side or their side. So if any opportunity comes, we'll evaluate based on the offer, if any, which comes from their side.
Sure, sir. Thanks.
So I'll read out another question from Mr. Anurag. So do we plan to another question. How much capacity is being added at Sangareddy plant, and if further capacity needs to be added, can this plant support it, or do we need to go and for a new greenfield facility?
You can answer, please.
I think they are talking about the Hyderabad plant.
Right, sir.
I think in the previous question, Mr. Sandeep Sikka has informed that with respect to our competitors, our pricing is same, and we are trying to be more competitive from our internal efficiencies, effectiveness, and all. In this internal efficiency and effectiveness and productivity, one of the criteria is capacity utilization and capacity creation. So as such, our teams, we have a dedicated teams of R&D, we have a dedicated teams of business excellence. They are working day in, day out, how to create the capacity with the present setup and how to add the value. So all these things are ongoing, and I hope so in the times to come, there will be a lot of good news which is going to come up, where we may increase our capacity, hidden capacities within our plants, and to make it more effective and more profitable business.
So based on situation today, we are not putting up additional capacity in the Sangareddy plant. No new furnaces as such being done. But we'll see how we can debottleneck the existing capacities. I think that is not the
Absolutely.
Okay. Or maybe if you can help us understand, if need arises, so how much capacity can the existing infra support?
No, I think we have answered this question.
Okay. So we'll take the next question, sir, from Anurag. So do we plan to extend our product range to flacconage since the margins are much better, similar to that of Kojam, now Piramal glasses?
Can you repeat the question, please, again?
So basically, as I understand, Rajesh, what they are trying to ask is that are we getting into value-added products?
Absolutely.
So our initiative, I'll answer this question. So we have this 154-ton new furnace which is coming up, which is primarily focusing on working and meeting the demands of various customers on the high-end side. Making value additions, the high-end perfumery side, high-end pharma side. So that is one initiative which we will be doing. As I said, that this furnace will be up running during Q1 of the next financial year.
So Sandeep, I may like to add something more. The Indian economy with a per capita income of $2,200 per capita, and it is going to go up in the times to come. It has been seen in the other economies that when the per capita income goes from around 3,000 or 4,000, there is a spurt change in the consumption pattern of the consumers, where they may like to have a better containers and a high value added containers. And fortunately, AGI Glasspack is equipped. They are already manufacturing and already selling these high value added products in the market, and in the times to come, they will be increased further. One such activity we are doing is 154 ton of furnace, which is going to produce almost 5,000 tons of material, 4,000 tons of material per month in the total value added segment. Besides that, there are other areas also in the existing business where we are already producing and supplying our value-added products.
Okay. I'll read out another question. Not sure it's a question, but Mr. Mr. Kocher wants to understand. Mr. Kocher wants to understand.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Not sure if it's appropriate question, but he's trying to understand the valuation of the company, and he asked, Piramal Glass got an EV of almost $1 billion, which is the largest ever transaction in the packaging company. I think he needs to he wants to know the valuation of the company.
I think, Mr. Kocher, I think the valuation of the company, the right valuation is what you see on the stock exchanges is the right valuation. Piramal Glass sold out. So when you do a strategic deal, the valuations are different. I think what you are proposing is whether we are going into value-added glasses and to create a long-term value. We have already spoken about it, that our first initiative on this is 154 ton furnace, which we are looking, and we'll see over a period of time how we build, more value-added products into our segment.
Okay, so we'll take the follow-up question from Mr. Zaki. Zaki, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. I would like to know what would be the debt level you would be comfortable by the end of the year, and what is it now that is long term as well as working capital, and what is a comfortable level for you by the end of the year?
So, Mr. Zaki, I think today we have a total debt of around 1,000 crore on the company. And since we are investing money, into various things like relining of furnaces, the new capex which is coming in terms of the capacity expansion. So we feel that by March end, the debt level should be in a range between around 1,250 crore to 1,300 crore at one time. And since the repayments are also happening, current year we have a repayment of 90 crores. Next year onward, the repayments will build up. So from March 23 onwards, the debt level will start shrinking because of the higher repayment schedule. But since we are making investments, for one reason, the debt level will increase, because internally we try to fund any long-term project with a long-term debt, rather than funding out of the working capital.
So with the increased debt, sir, we will be able to maintain the EBITDA at last year levels, or what?
We'll also have, incremental earnings from there. And with that incremental earnings and the cash flow generation which is there, we'll first pay off long-term, short-term debts which are there. Because any surplus cash, because we don't have any subsidiary, we don't have any investments other than this. So any cash which gets generated in the company, first goes towards reduction of debt only.
Sir, and any thought on demerging the building product division out of the company so that it remains a pure glass play, sir?
So we keep evaluating various options. So, but unless anything which is confirmed by the board, it is difficult to comment on.
But the thought process would be there with the management.
I have answered. We keep evaluating.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, we'll take the next question from Aditya Zawar. Aditya, you can please go ahead. I've unmuted you.
Thanks for the opportunity. Just I want to get sense of how much opportunity we have there to grow our top line. So right now with the current capacity, we are doing approximately top line in the packaging segment like 400 crores or 450 crores. So, but we have taken a good aggressive debt of 1,000 crores. Right now we have 1,250 crores, and we are adding capacity which will be operational in next year, as you said, 154 ton of new furnace. So what could be the asset turn in this area segment? Because as you are saying, it is a high margin product. So as in last con call also, you guided that the margin would be approx to 15 to 18%, right? So, so how much our top line can we grow with this additional capacity? And I want to understand the market share that can we gain from this adding the new capacity. That's it. Thank you.
So there are two questions. First question, you are saying that since we are reaching the capacity, how we are going to increase the volumes. So one option is the better product mix. Second is looking at industry allocation, how we can allocate because our realizations for different sectors are different, so we can work around that. Third point, Mr. Khosla has already spoken that how to debottleneck various plant facilities so that we can have a better tonnage out of the plant. 154-ton furnace, which is purely focused on high value segment, is the first initiative. The market potential is huge because it can service clients because of the higher realization even in the export market. So these are the initiatives which we feel in a short to medium term range will help us maintain the trajectory. But over a period of time, definitely, the organization has to look to further, put up capacities because the demand we feel will be good over a period of time on the packaging products, especially on the glass side. So we may, over next 2 to 3 years, may think of putting, more furnaces within existing plants or, doing it some other, or, there can be some other opportunities which will help us improve.
So, sir, so with this new capacity, we can easily, within like 2 years operational, can we double our top line in packaging segment, sir?
No,
Be fair.
no, in 2 years can't package because this is a small furnace. So like our rated capacity today is 1600 tons per day. And this new furnace is just 154 tons per day. It's just 1/10 the size.
Okay. But it will increase the margin or better mix.
Increase the realizations. The realizations here can be higher by, almost 30, 35, 40%, depending on the product mix when we start producing. So it will lead to a higher turnover impact as.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
I think this has also, the question from Anurag has got covered. So I'll take the next question from Shrey. Shrey, you can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hello. Sir, can you just help me understand the demand trends on the building product side, largely like sanitary and faucetware and the pipes division? And if you could just help us with the capacity utilizations in each of the plants for sanitary and faucetware and pipes?
Mr. Kabra, would you like to take this?
Yeah, the sanitary ware, we have 2 plants, as you know, one in Bahadurgarh in Haryana near Delhi and another in Telangana near Hyderabad. Both plants put together, the capacity utilization has been around 80% in Q1. And for the faucet plant, the capacity utilization has been around 65%. Pipe, Mr. Sikka, you are aware that you can tell them.
Pipe during Q1 was around 54%, 54-55% because of the lockdown, we were not producing because the disposal of metal was not happening. So, but on an overall basis, we are confident that the demand from the real estate, which we had seen last year, coming very strongly immediately after the COVID lockdown, the similar patterns should happen in the current year also. This is based on the current market conditions as we are seeing. On the long-term basis, people are looking for newer houses, better houses because they're spending more times inside the house. And they are looking at the opportunities that, if they can get one more room inside, a new house which they can convert into a sort of an office, because the work from home concept is more and more. And for some of the companies, this is sort of a permanent feature as we discuss in the market. So we feel that a lot of transition happening here in the market. People are looking for an upsell, up-buy here, looking for better opportunities, better facilities within the house. So overall demand should remain strong on the building product side.
Okay. And secondly, sir, Somany Home Innovation has guided for about 1.5 times the industry growth in the building product segment. And they are also saying they are targeting about 1,000 crores in the pipes division. So just wanted to understand, do you have the capacities to be able to service these requirements from the Somany Home Innovation?
So based on our contracts with them, our annual contracts in nature, one, we have sufficient capacities right now, and wherever required, we'll build more capacities to service our client. But it is not that Somani Home and its subsidiary Birloka is primarily Birloka buying from us. So they buy 100% of material from HSIL. So they buy from a third party, other vendors also which are there. So we meet only part of the demand, of.
So from what I understand, is 70% of their building products demand is met by you guys.
Yeah, on sanitary ware.
Yeah.
So we have capacities in place to service them right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So I think we do not have any further questions. So I will hand over the call to Mr. Sandeep Sikka for closing remarks. Over to you, sir, for any closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Amit. Thank you, everybody who joined us today on the call. So this quarter was a tough quarter, but I think we performed well as compared to last year. The situation now is much relaxed in terms of the COVID environment, what we had in the month of May. Wherein, each one of us directly, indirectly had suffered somehow, But today the company, in terms of the overall capacities, overall positioning with this customer, we have performed well last year. And we are confident that going forward, I think we should be on the upward trajectory on a medium to long-term range. This may require certain investments over a period of time, but will unlock a lot of potential which is there within the company to also demonstrate on the top line and the bottom line. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks again.
On behalf of Antique Stock Broking, I would like to thank the team of HSIL Limited for providing us this opportunity to host the call, and also like to thank all the participants for joining in. Thanks, and you may now disconnect your call. Thank you.